Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the British Accent Podcast. Today, we're diving into a really fun and meaningful topic: English for making friends around the world.
That's right. Because English is spoken globally, it's often the bridge that connects people from completely different cultures. Whether you're traveling, studying abroad, or just chatting online, English can open doors to new friendships.
And making friends isn't just about knowing grammar, it's about sounding approachable, warm, and confident. Sometimes it's as simple as knowing the right phrases to start a conversation and keep it going naturally.
Exactly. Think about how exciting it is to meet someone from another country, maybe at a cafe, at school, or even in an online community. If you know a few friendly expressions, you can turn a short conversation into the beginning of a friendship.
In today's episode, we'll explore the kinds of words and phrases that actually make people feel comfortable with you. We'll also share some cultural tips, because making friends isn't only about what you say, but also how you say it.
So, whether you're shy about starting conversations, or you just want to learn what people really say when building friendships, stick with us, you're going to get lots of practical advice today.
Let's start with the first stage of making friends, the introduction. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple, "Hi, I'm Emily. Nice to meet you," is already powerful. And of course, you can ask, "What's your name?" That's usually the doorway to more conversation.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, if you only stop at names, the conversation might die quickly. So the trick is to ask a simple, open question. For example, "Where are you from?" or "What do you do?" These are classic small talk starters that show you're interested in the other person.
Yes, and when they answer, you don't just nod. You follow up. For example, if someone says, "I'm from Brazil," you could say, "Oh really? I've always wanted to visit Brazil. Which city are you from?" That way, you're showing genuine curiosity.
Exactly. And here's another tip: people love talking about their hobbies or interests. So if you're meeting someone at a language class, you could say, "So, why did you decide to learn English?" or "Do you like learning languages?" That can naturally lead into a longer conversation.
Let's act it out quickly. Imagine Nick and I just met at a cafe.
Okay, so I'll start. "Hey, is this seat taken?"
No, go ahead.
"Thanks. By the way, my name's Nick."
Nice to meet you, Nick. I'm Emily.
"Nice to meet you too, Emily. So, do you come here often?"
But it works in a casual, friendly way.
Exactly. And then from there, I could say, "I really like the coffee here. What do you usually order?" That kind of small talk can make someone feel comfortable.
And the key is tone. If you say it in a flat or cold way, it sounds awkward. But if you smile, make eye contact, and sound genuinely interested, people open up more.
Another useful phrase is, "That's cool." It sounds simple, but it keeps the conversation positive. For example, if someone says, "I play the guitar," you can respond with, "That's cool. How long have you been playing?"
Great point. Little phrases like, "That's interesting," or "Really? Tell me more," are magic. They keep the other person talking, which is exactly what you want when making a new friend.
And don't forget, making friends isn't about impressing people with big words. It's about connection. Sometimes even saying, "Me too," when you find something in common can instantly make you feel closer to someone.
Yes. Shared interests create bonds. If someone says, "I love watching movies," and you say, "Me too. What kind of movies do you like?" Boom, you've got a conversation that could last for ages.
So once you get past the introductions and small talk, the next step is moving into slightly deeper topics. That's how you turn a casual conversation into a real friendship.
Exactly. For example, instead of just asking, "Where are you from?" you could say, "What do you like most about your city or country?" That kind of question invites a story, not just a short answer.
Yes, and stories are where connections really form. When someone shares a memory, an experience, or even a funny situation, you get to see their personality. And you can respond by sharing your own story. That's how you build trust and warmth.
Another good move is talking about goals or dreams. You might ask, is there something you're working on right now? Or what's a place you'd really like to visit one day? Those questions feel natural, but open the door to deeper, more personal conversations.
And let's be real, when you're making friends across cultures, sometimes the fun comes from comparing experiences. Like, in my country, we usually eat dinner at 7 p.m. What about in yours? These cultural differences are great conversation starters.
Definitely. And it shows respect. You're saying, I value your culture. I want to learn about it. People appreciate that so much.
Here's another tip, don't be afraid of silence. Sometimes when you're nervous, you think, oh no, the conversation is dying. But actually, short pauses are normal. If you stay calm and smile, usually the other person will add something new.
Right, and you can always restart with a simple phrase like, by the way, or oh, that reminds me. It's like a little bridge to keep things flowing.
I also think humor is underrated. You don't have to tell big jokes, but small light comments, like, I always mess up this word, or I'm terrible at remembering names, can make you more relatable.
And remember, making friends is a process. You don't have to become best friends in one day. It often starts with small chats, then maybe grabbing coffee, then maybe sharing more personal things later on. Step by step.
Yes, and the great thing about learning English is that it gives you the chance to do this with people from all over the world. Every new friend you make also helps you practice and improve naturally.
So let's say you've had a nice first conversation, you feel that spark of connection, what's next? How do you keep that friendship alive?
That's a good question, because making friends is not just about the first chat. It's about following up. A simple way is to say, it was great talking to you, can I add you on Instagram or WhatsApp? That's very natural today.
And once you connect online, don't just let the contact sit there. Send a quick message later, like, hey, I really enjoyed our chat. Hope your week is going well. It doesn't have to be long, but it shows you care.
Exactly. And if you're practicing English, you can even be honest. You can say, I'm also using English to practice, so feel free to correct me if I make mistakes. Most people will find that refreshing.
Another thing, ask follow-up questions from your earlier conversation. If someone told you they had a job interview, later you can say, how did your interview go? That shows you remembered, and people love that.
Right. It makes them feel valued. And honestly, that's the universal secret to making friends, make the other person feel important. It doesn't matter if your English isn't perfect. What matters is your effort to connect.
And don't underestimate sharing little everyday updates too. Like, I tried that food you recommended, or I listened to that song you mentioned. Those small messages can create an ongoing bond.
Plus, technology makes this so much easier. You can do voice messages, short video calls, even just sending memes or emojis. Friendships don't always need deep conversations, sometimes laughing together over something silly is enough.
True. And if you're shy about speaking English, sometimes writing messages first can help build your confidence. Then later, when you meet again or call, it feels more natural.
Yeah, it's like building layers. Step by step, you get more comfortable, and the friendship grows stronger at the same time.
Something really important, when making international friends, is remembering that culture plays a big role in communication. What might be polite in one culture could feel strange in another.
Exactly. For example, in some cultures, people hug when they meet, but in others, they just wave or shake hands. And even in messages, some cultures use lots of emojis, while others keep it short and serious.
And that can lead to misunderstandings if you don't realize it. Like, someone might reply with just okay. To you, it may feel cold, but to them, it's perfectly normal.
That's why the best thing is to stay open and not take things personally. If you're not sure, you can even ask politely, "Oh, in your country, is it normal to reply like that?" Most people will be happy to explain.
Another example is humor. Jokes don't always translate well, and sometimes what's funny in one language might be confusing, or even offensive in another. So it's good to keep your humor light, or ask, "Do you get what I mean?"
And actually, these little cultural differences can make friendships even more interesting. You're not just learning English, you're learning about the world.
That's so true. And here's a tip. If you accidentally make a mistake, maybe you said something that didn't sound right, don't panic. Just smile and say, "Oh, I didn't mean it that way." Most people will understand.
Yeah, because what matters is your intention. People can feel when you're being friendly and respectful. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, your kindness is what they remember.
And honestly, that's one of the best parts of making friends through English. It's not just language practice, it's building bridges between cultures.
Once you've made an international friend, the next step is keeping the friendship alive. That can be a little tricky with time zones and busy schedules.
True, but even small things can help. Like sending a quick, "Good morning," or sharing a funny meme in English. It doesn't have to be a long conversation every time.
Yeah, and if you're learning English, those little messages are actually daily practice. It's like combining friendship with study.
Another tip is setting a weekly chat time. Even if it's just 15 minutes on Zoom or WhatsApp, it gives you something to look forward to.
And you can make it fun, like playing an online game together, watching the same TV show, or recommending songs. You'll not only practice English, but also share experiences.
And remember, friendships don't have to be perfect. Sometimes people are busy, sometimes they reply late. That's normal. Just stay patient and kind.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, making friends around the world is about connection, not perfection. English is just the bridge.
And that's the beauty of it. The more friends you make, the more confident you'll feel, and the more natural your English will become.
So, if you're listening, don't be afraid to take the first step. Send that message, join that group, start that conversation.
Your next best friend could be waiting for you, and English is the key to unlocking that friendship.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep practicing, keep connecting, and keep learning.
We'll see you in the next episode, and until then, happy learning and happy connecting.